We're underway from Joliet, Illinois, and Slammers Stadium as the University of St. Francis takes on Purdue Northwest University in a non-conference matchup. We are in the top of the first inning, 2 outs already. Apologies about the technical problems as we were trying to get started with this game, but a good start for the Fighting Saints as Evan Doan has gotten 2 quick ground outs, one of them on a bunt to begin the ball game, and now a fly ball out to right field that drops in for a base hit. Ray Hilbrich ends up on base on a bloop single. It drops in between the right fielder Travis Schoonover and the second baseman John Peterson. And we've got the game's first base runner. It's a single with 2 outs in the first inning. And the cleanup batter coming up now. Nick Albanese, the left fielder for Purdue Northwest, trying to develop a little rally here for the visiting side. Coming in from Northwest Indiana. It called strike 1 on Albanese. St. Francis comes in with a record of 10-11 overall. They've won 6 consecutive ball games, all of them here at home, and they're trying to make it 7 in a row today in a 9-inning matchup. Again, a non-conference game. Ball downstairs. The count is 1-1. A couple of years ago, this would not have been a non-conference game. The last time these two teams met was back in 2017 when Purdue Northwest was still a member of the CCAC. Now they are not only not a member of the CCAC, they're not a member of the NAIA anymore. There's a fly ball out to left field. Tracking it over towards the line is Sean Harper. He makes the catch and ends the inning. A 2-out bloop single from Hilbrich, the only offense from Purdue Northwest in the first inning. We head to the bottom of the frame. We'll get to the lineups and a game reset in just a moment. No score early on. We roll into the bottom of the first inning in a scoreless tie as the Fighting Saints of St. Francis come to bat for the first time. Travis Schoonover leads things off playing right field. Batting second baseman John Peterson. Jake Lasota hits in the third spot. Lasota is today's designated hitter. Batting cleanup first baseman Anthony Farron. Jonathan Wolf hits fifth and plays shortstop. Adam Cebulka does the catching. Sean Harper, the left fielder, is in the 7th spot in the batting order. Third baseman Josh Tesh hits 8th, and batting 9th, center fielder Bailey Schultz. Travis Schoonover has a 1-0 count as he begins the offensive proceedings for St. Francis and takes a strike. The count now 1-1. Jade Doyle is the man on the mound for Purdue Northwest, trying to shut down these red-hot St. Francis bats. 1-1 on the leadoff man. Schoonover swings and lifts it out to left field. It's pretty deep. Backing up on that ball is Nick Albanese. He's able to get to the spot about 10 feet in front of the warning track and make the grab. 1 up, 1 down. Pretty good contact from Schoonover, trying to send it the other way, but Albanese able to track it down and bring up John Peterson with 1 out and nobody on. Jade Doyle, the Purdue Northwest starter, off to a good start in this one, his first start of the season. He has appeared in 2 games out of the bullpen. His first toss to Peterson is fouled back out of play for strike 1. Doyle has thrown 4 innings this year. He's allowed 3 hits, 2 walks. He has struck out 5 and has not yet allowed a run. He misses outside on Peterson. The count is 1-1. No score early in this one as Peterson takes a ball upstairs. 2 balls and 1 strike. This is the first game for Purdue Northwest in a full week, so they've had a chance to rest up their entire pitching staff. As Peterson takes high, that's the 3rd straight miss from Doyle, and it makes it a solid hitter's count of 3 balls and 1 strike. Next pitch to the second baseman, taken over the outside corner for strike 2. Peterson dropped his bat, took off to first base, but now he's called back to the batter's box. So he'll have to face Doyle with a full count. Jade Doyle, the senior southpaw, winds and fires, and Peterson rips it into center field and right at the center fielder Austin Kordick, who had some trouble with that ball but is able to make the grab on the sinking line drive for out number 2. Center fielders will always tell you it's not easy to make a play on a ball hit right at you. He had to react quickly there, and Kordick for an instant looked like he was going to misplay the ball. It might have gotten past him for extra bases, but he was able to adjust at the last second, drop down to his knees, and catch the line drive just as it sunk around at knee level. 2 outs, nobody on for Jake Lasota, who takes a ball high. 1-0 on Lasota, who's been swinging the bat very well of late for the Fighting Saints. He takes inside, 2-0. Doyle has fallen behind all 3 of the St. Francis hitters this inning. Lasota, not a guy you want to fall behind. He's a .308 batter with 15 RBIs, who takes a strike. The count is 2-1. Excuse me, 5 RBIs, 2 extra base hits for Lasota in 13 games played this year. He's one of 5 players on St. Francis hitting above 300 for the year. Ball 3 outside, 3-1. 7 balls, just 6 strikes thrown by Doyle so far in the first inning. So far, no harm done. Fouled back, 3-2. A week ago at this time, St. Francis's team batting average was just .218. Now it's .264. They've won 6 consecutive games, and in each one of those 6, they've scored at least 5 runs. High pop-up, foul to the right side, and it'll get out of play. Still 3-2. For as impressive as the offense has been for the Fighting Saints, the pitching has been a little bit better even. They've allowed only 12 runs during the last 6 games. They've given up just 4 runs in their last 4 games. Fouled away, still 3-2. Lasota working the count here. A 9-pitch at bat. Or rather an 8-pitch at bat so far for Lasota, who got ahead 3-1. Doyle has fought back and made it a good challenge. Still 3 balls and 2 strikes. This will be the 3rd 3-2 pitch. And the last one as Lasota takes ball 4 inside. It's a 2-out walk, and just like the Pride in the inning previous, the Saints have a man at first base with 2 outs. Both pitchers retired the first 2 batters of the inning. Here's Anthony Farron, and I mentioned Lasota's not a guy you want to face and fall behind. Farron certainly falls in that category even more dramatically. A .448 hitter One of the top batters in the CCAC so far this year. He takes ball one. Farron's also got a pair of home runs. Easily the team leader with 18 RBIs. Only one other player on the team is even in double figures. Called strike one on Farron. The count is even. Farron is slugging .672. His on-base percentage .507. He's been pretty near unstoppable throughout the first month plus of this season. And there's a sharp liner up the middle. Another hit for Farron. Up to second base goes Lesota. A single for Farron. 2 on, 2 out for Jonathan Wolf. Farron hit that ball near the ground, but on such a hard line that even as it bounced on the infield dirt, just off to the third base side of dead center, it was hit far too hard for the shortstop Ray Hansen to have any sort of play on it. So straight out to center field instead. Lesota up to second. Jonathan Wolf in the batter's box, and Wolf swings the first pitch. He lines it up the middle for a base hit. Lesota will try to score, and he will without a play. It's an RBI single for Jonathan Wolf, and the Saints lead 1-0 in the first inning. 3 straight 2-out base runners have gotten the Fighting Saints on the board. Farron stopped at second on the play for Jonathan Wolf, who jumped on the first pitch there. RBI number 9 this year, ranking him 3rd on the team. And Adam Cebulka will try to keep the train moving here. Lesota walked with 2 outs, and that was the problem early on in this inning for Jade Doyle. Not throwing strikes consistently. He fell behind both Schoonover and Peterson before losing Lesota. Ball downstairs on Cebulka, 1-0. In fact, the only batter this inning who has not at some point been ahead in the count is Jonathan Wolf, who singled on the first pitch and drove in a run in the process. Check swing and a ball outside, 2-0. He continues to have trouble with his control. Anytime you start to find yourself having control problems with 2 outs in an inning, you're asking for trouble, and that's what happened here with back-to-back singles following the 2-out walk. High pop-up, fouling out of play. 2-1 on the catcher, Cebulka. 200 batting average this year. He's got 11 hits and 55 at-bats. 4 of them have been doubles. He's knocked in 7 runs, and he can add 1 or 2 more with a base hit in this at-bat. Farron's at second. Wolf is at first with 2 down. Here comes the 2-1 from Doyle to Cebulka. Breaking ball outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. It's turned into a very long bottom half of the first inning as the home team jumps on the scoreboard first yet again. This is the way it's gone lately for St. Francis. Cebulka turns on one deep left field down the line. It's got a chance to go, and it does by a long way. A 3-run homer for Adam Cebulka, and it's 4-0 St. Francis in the first inning. Down the line for Cebulka, but he straightened it out. It was fair by a good 15 feet or so and cleared the fence by more than that for Adam Cebulka. Home run number 1. RBIs number 8, 9, and 10. And the Saints are off and running. What a start for them, and all of this in the bottom of the first inning has come with 2 outs. That home run, the 7th hit this year by the Fighting Saints, and the 7th allowed on the season by Purdue Northwest. Sean Harper steps to the plate and takes strike 1. Granted, it's been a small sample size entering play today, but Jade Doyle had not allowed a run all year prior to this game, and here he's allowed 4 and only recorded 2 outs. 1-1 on Harper. The left fielder's hitting .147 with one run knocked in this year. He takes a ball in the dirt, 2-1. It's so hard to come from behind to get outs when you're constantly behind hitters. He has been constantly behind hitters this inning. It was a 3-1 pitch that Cebulka took out to left field. Down low, 3-1 on Harper. 4-0 St. Francis, and we're just underway. 3-1 on Harper. Doyle gets the sign, winds up, and delivers. And he misses inside for ball 4. That's his second walk of the inning. And it's also the 5th consecutive Fighting Saint to reach base after the first 2 batters were retired. Over 30 pitches thrown this inning by Jade Doyle. More than half of them have missed the strike zone. He's walked 2. He's given up 3 hits. And now he faces Josh Tesh, the third baseman, with 2 outs and 1 on. And Tesh takes a ball outside. Tesh is starting for the 10th time this year. He's a .233 hitter with a home run, 5 runs batted in. An awkward swing and a miss there. I don't think he made contact with it. It got away from the catcher, but Sean Harper over at first base elected not to try for second. It's a strike on Tesh, and the count is 1-1. There's a breaking ball that drops into the zone. Strike 2. Tesh is the 8th batter of the inning, trying to send the entire round to the plate. Bailey Schultz stands on deck. 1-2 count. Doyle sets and delivers. Ground ball to the shortstop. Picked up cleanly. Flipped over to second base for the force to end the inning. 4 runs score, though, in the bottom of the first for St. Francis on 3 hits. The big one, a big 3-run homer for Adam Cebulka. 1 man left on base as we head to the second. It's St. Francis 4, Purdue Northwest nothing. One inning in the books, and it's all St. Francis so far as the first pitch of the second inning is bounced by Thorne over to the shortstop. Charging, gloving, and throwing in time is Jonathan Wolf. And a good start to the second inning for the Fighting Saints as Hunter Thorne is retired 6-3 on just 1 pitch. Now it's Hunter Ryan, back-to-back Hunters in the Purdue Northwest lineup. Struggling to get going early on against Evan Doan, whose first pitch to Ryan is smacked to the right side and off the glove of a diving Johnny Peterson out to center field. That'll be a base hit for Hunter Ryan. Solid piece of hitting. Peterson nearly robbed him with a great effort, but came up just a little bit short. Second hit of the ball game for Purdue Northwest. They've got a man on with 1 out. And their shortstop, Hansen, coming up.
Shortstop, Ray Hansen.
Ray Hansen is a 200 hitter, 1 RBI, 1 extra base hit. It was a double. He's the 6th man in the lineup. We'll go through the rest of the lineup in just a moment. Haven't really gotten to it yet after we were experiencing some problems to start the game. Weren't able to get on air for the first at bat. Hansen takes ball 1 outside. It's Anthony Agney leading off and playing second base, then Austin Kordick in center field. Ray Hilbrich is the right fielder. Cleanup batter is Nick Albanese out in left. We just heard from catcher Hunter Thorne as Hansen sends one up in the air to left center field. Bailey Schultz tracks it over into the gap and makes the grab for the second out. Hunter Ryan returns to first base, and he'll stand there with 2 down for the third baseman, Danny Schneeberger. Just back to that lineup. Hunter Thorne, the catcher, bats fifth. Hunter Ryan, designated hitter, is in the 6 hole. Ray Hansen is that shortstop. Man in the box right now is the third baseman, Danny Schneeberger. And hitting ninth is first baseman Connor Hoffman. 0-1 on Schneeberger. Number 27 in black and gold today. Trailing 4-0, but with a runner at first. And as the Saints are well aware, just because there are 2 outs, it's no reason not to start a rally. St. Francis had 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the first inning, and they ended up scoring 4 runs. So they'll stay on their guard here as they try to prevent Purdue Northwest from doing something similar. Schneeberger's a .333 batter on the year. And he calls time and steps out of the box before the last pitch. This is his 6th start of the year. He's 6 for 18 at the plate with 2 RBIs. One of his 6 hits has gone for extra bases. It was a double. There's a ball inside, and the count is 1-1. Evan Doan's doing the pitching today for St. Francis. It's his 2nd start of the year to go along with 3 relief outings. No record of .415 ERA in 13 innings. He's allowed 7 runs, 6 of them earned on 17 hits, with 6 strikeouts and 4 walks. Schneeberger swings and misses. The count is 1-2. So far in this game for Doan, an inning and 2/3, 2 hits, no walks, no strikeouts, and naturally, no runs. He can pick up his first K of the ball game with 1 more strike here on Schneeberger. Righty to righty, the 1-2. Grounded down the third base line, just fair. Backhanded stop by Tesh. Long throw over to first, and it's on the money as Farron makes the stretch and the catch. Inning over. A 1-out single from Hunter Ryan is the extent of the Pride offense in the 2nd. We head to the bottom of the frame. 4-0 St. Francis. Nine, 1, and 2 are due up for the Fighting Saints in the bottom of the 2nd inning. They lead Purdue Northwest 4-0. And Bailey Schultz starts off at the bat here, takes ball 1 outside. Jade Doyle is on the mound for Purdue Northwest. Doyle struggled through the first inning, didn't struggle to get the first 2 outs, but from that point on, it was a nightmare. Schultz drops a bunt down the third base line and pulls it foul. 1-1. Doyle's a senior from Greenwood, Indiana, transferred in out of community college. And again, getting his first start of the year, a non-conference game, so both managers have elected to go with atypical starting choices. Ball low and in, 2-1. I say atypical just in the fact that both Doyle and St. Francis's Evan Doan have been primarily relievers this year in limited action. Called strike over the inside edge, 2-2. Bailey Schultz getting his first at bat, trying to expand on a 162 batting average. He's driven in a pair of runs on the year. Schultz takes a slow curve right over the plate for strike 3. Couldn't pull the trigger on that one. He knew it as soon as the pitch came in. He turned his head, started to walk away as he was rung up. No argument necessary. First strikeout of the ball game for either pitcher. 1 out in the 2nd inning, and we're back to the top of the order with Travis Schoonover. Schoonover led off the first with a fly out to left field. He's 0 for 1. He takes ball 1 outside. Travis is hitting .333. He's the only Fighting Saint to have not only appeared, but started every game this year. That ball roped down the right field line and in for a base hit. Over to the line and cutting it off quickly is Hilbrich, holding Schoonover to a single. Well, as hard as he hit that ball, if he had been able to pull it down the line a little bit further, may have ended up with extra bases out of it. So from that standpoint, he's probably a little disappointed that Hilbrich was able to get over to that so quickly. But on the other hand, and more importantly for St. Francis, they've got a man at first base right now and a solid hit from Schoonover. John Peterson takes a breaking ball over the outside corner for strike one. Peterson 0 for 1, hit the ball hard, lined out to center fielder Austin Kordick, who had to make somewhat of an awkward dive on a catch back in the first inning. This inning has begun much better than the first did for the Fighting Saints, as they have a runner on and only one out. Last inning they didn't get anybody on base until there had already been 2 outs, but then 5 consecutive batters reached and 4 of them scored. Ball in the dirt and it skips away. A wild pitch allows Schoonover to advance to second base. 1-1 on Peterson, and now a runner in scoring position. With only 1 out, a base hit from Peterson could extend the St. Francis lead. Doyle struggling most of all with his control in the early part of today's game. He's also allowed 4 hits through an inning and a third. Not a number he would brag about, as Peterson foul tips it for strike 2. But most of those hits have come from a hitter's position of power. He's fallen behind just about everybody today, if not 1-0, then 2-1 or 3-1. He has not been pitching from a position of comfort for much of the evening so far, or the afternoon, I should say. 1-2. Ball just a little bit high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Heart of the order coming up next, with Jake Lasota standing on deck. So this is a big out for Doyle. Time called by Peterson as he steps out of the batter's box. Adam Cebulka's 3-run homer in the bottom of the first, the big blow so far. 2-2. Foul tipped. Peterson just does stay alive. Good job of 2-strike hitting right there by the junior, John Peterson. It's a gloomy day here in Joliet. Not quite as nice as Tuesday when the Saints had a 3 o'clock ball game and won that one. Ball low and outside, 3-2. It was a 5-0 victory against Judson. Over the weekend, they swept 3 in a row from Indiana South Bend here in Joliet. 3-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Second strikeout of the inning for Doyle, and second strikeout of the game for Doyle. He'll face Jake Lasota with 2 outs, and Schoonover at second base. Lasota started the 4-run first inning rally when he drew a 2-out walk. Foul tipped for strike 1 this time around. If Lasota can reach base, Anthony Farron will bat next. Also, if Lasota can reach base on a hit, Travis Schoonover would likely score from second base. With 2 outs, he'll be going on any contact. Ball up and away. It's 1-1. Last time St. Francis lost a game was way back on March 9th. 6-2 decision against number 10 team in the country, St. Thomas, down in Florida. Popped up, foul to the right side on the infield, over in front of the Purdue dugout. It lands in the dugout, unreachable by either first baseman or catcher. The count is 1-2 on Lasota. He's seen a fair number of pitches in the box today. 11 of them in all over the course of his first 2 at-bats. Here's another 1-2, or the first 1-2 I should say. Ball outside, 2-2. the only 1-2 pitch in that particular at-bat. Lasota is making Doyle work here. 2-2. He hits it in the air out to right center field. Hilbrich and Kordick converge. The center fielder Kordick makes the catch and ends the inning. Saints get a man into scoring position. With only one out but don't score him, they leave Schoonover at second base. We'll head to the third. 4-0 Fighting Saints. We're into the third inning. St. Francis 4, Purdue Northwest nothing. Good bounce back getting for Jade Doyle as he held St. Francis off the scoreboard in the second after the Saints put up that 4 spot in the first. And now Purdue will try to get on the board for the first time. Hoffman leads things off and takes ball 1 outside. Connor Hoffman, the first baseman for the Pride, takes a strike over the outside corner, evening up the count at 1. Hoffman is hitting .316 for the year in 7 games played. Batting 9th, left-handed hitter, takes a ball outside. It's 2-1. Purdue Northwest played 8 games last week and has not played since. There's a ground ball foul to the right side. The count is 2-2. It's weird sometimes you get into the midst of baseball season and you don't get enough time out. You don't have enough pitchers' arms. Position players start to wear down a little bit. Fouled back. Off the screen, still 2-2. You don't often have a time mid-season, as this is, where you get a chance to rest your guys for a full week. But that's what Purdue Northwest had. First game today since last Thursday. Ball low and away. So they had their pick of any pitcher, really, that they wanted to throw today. They ended up with Jade Doyle, who is starting his first game of the year, so probably saving some of the more heavily used arms for their weekend. There's ball 4 inside. Hoffman comes back. He was behind in the count 1-2, and he takes 3 straight out of the zone to draw the walk. So the leadoff man reaches for Purdue Northwest for the first time today, and Anthony Agnew, the leadoff batter, comes up, trying to kickstart a rally. Agnew is 0 for 1. He grounded out to third base his first time up. Junior second base transfer from the local school, Joliet Junior College, shows a bunt formation and bunts it foul behind home plate for strike 1. Connor Hoffman's over at first on Evan Doan's first walk of the game. St. Francis, during their 6-game winning streak, has not made too many mistakes. They've done a good job of eliminating those little errors like leadoff walks or defensive errors to begin with. Their defense has been impeccable during their 6-game stretch. They've outscored opponents during those 6 games, 49-12. Make it 53-12 if you include today's action. Ball in the dirt on Agnew, and that evens the count 1-1. Make that 48-12. That's been the cumulative score of the last 6 games coming into play today. Not too far off as it goes fouled on the first base line, 1-2. Anthony Agnew trying to get the bunt down. So far has not had any success with it. Agnew, the leadoff batter, is a .270 hitter with a .341 on base percentage. He's got a third of his team's 6 sacrifice bunts this year. 2 of them. 1-2 count, and he likely will have to swing away here. He doesn't. He bunts it foul, and that's strike 3. Interesting decision in a game in which they're trailing by 4 runs. You can understand a little bit why they might try to sacrifice Agnew to advance Hoffman, but when you're down big, you would think you'd be more interested in getting base runners than in getting that 1 runner over. And with 2 strikes, that's a huge risk, and it did not pay off for Purdue. 1 out, the runner's still at first, and now it's the number 2 hitter and center fielder, Austin Kordick. Doan sets for the first pitch. It misses outside for ball 1. Kordick tried to bunt his way on base his first time up. Tapped out to the catcher. There's a ground ball to the right side. Backhanded stop by Farron. The first baseman throws to second and gets the force there, 3-6. Nice play by Farron. On a softly hit ball to the first baseman's right. Very difficult double play to turn. They elected not to make the return throw, and by they, I'm referring to the shortstop Jonathan Wolf. Probably the right move, I would think. First base, 2 outs now as Hoffman is retired on the base paths. Here's Hilbrich. Ray Hilbrich singled to shallow right field in the top of the first inning. First hit of the game for Purdue Northwest. This ball is sent high in the air, deep right field, back to the wall, right down the line, and fair and over the wall for a home run. Ray Hilbrich cuts the St. Francis lead in half. It's 4-2 on the long ball. Kordick scores in front of him for Ray Hilbrich. That's home run number 1, RBIs number 3 and 4 this year. Hilbrich came into today's game with a .407 batting average, but not much power. He shows off his power here. As Albanese takes strike 1. Albanese is 0 for 1. He flew out to left field his first time up. Nick Albanese hitting .400 at the start of today's game. The 0-1 breaks low and in for a ball to even the count. 1-1, Hunter Thorne stands in the on-deck circle hoping for a chance this inning. 2 runs are in on the home run for the Pride. Scores 4-2 as that ball is hit in the air out to center field. Bailey Schultz goes back and to his left and tracks that ball down to end the inning. 2-run score on 1 hit, a 2-run homer from Ray Hilbrich. We head to the bottom of the third. It's 4-2 St. Francis. St. Francis 4, Purdue Northwest 2 in the bottom of the third. Anthony Farron leads off the inning for the Saints and takes ball one high from Jade Doyle. Doyle on the mound for his third inning of work. He's allowed 4 hits and walked 2 through the first 2 innings. He's also struck out a couple of guys. In there for a strike, 1-1. It's Farron, Wolf, and Cebulka due up. These 3 guys contributed heavily to the 4 runs that were scored in the first inning for St. Francis. 1-1. Tapper foul. It's 1-2. Anthony Farron was honored by the CCAC this past week for another strong week for him, and in particular for one that helped his team win 5 straight games. They're up to 6 straight now, but one of those was this week. 1-2. He takes high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jade Doyle trying to settle in. He's retired 4 of the last 5 batters he's faced, trying to make it 5 out of 6 here. But he misses low and inside, 3-2. He retired the first 2 and then let 5 in a row reach base. And since then he's settled back in, getting 4 out of 5. Payoff pitch coming from Doyle. Swung on and lined into center field, a base hit. Anthony Farron is 2 for 2. 2 strong singles right to center field for the senior slugger. Leadoff man reaches for the first time today for the Saints. Here's Jonathan Wolf. Wolf's got himself an RBI single today. He's 1 for 1. In fact, he knocked in the first run of the game. It's now a 4-2 score. Wolf taps it behind home plate, foul ball. The Saints led 4-0 until a 2-run homer in the top half of this frame brought Purdue Northwest back into it. 0-1. Breaking ball misses low, ball 1. Left-handed pitcher, right-handed batter. A swing and a drive into left field, but playable for Albanese, who comes on and makes the grab. Hard hit, easy play, 1 down. Time for Cebulka. Wolf now 1 for 2. Cebulka is 1 for 1, and his hit is the biggest so far. A 3-run homer to left field in the first inning. Now he bats with a man on first. 1 out. First pitch of the at-bat. Misses high for ball 1. St. Francis has had at least 1 base runner in every inning. They're trying to avoid their 3rd man stranded. Ball in the dirt. 2-0. Anthony Farron's leadoff single is what put the runner on base for the Fighting Saints. Still only 1 out in the inning. And a good hitter's count, 2 balls, no strikes on Adam Cebulka. He hits a sharp liner to the left side and through the hole for a base hit. Cebulka is 2 for 2 as Farron moseys on over to second base. Sean Harper's got a chance to bring home some runs. If not Harper, then at least Josh Tesh. Cebulka's the catcher for St. Francis, so he'll head back to the dugout to get his gear ready for the next inning. Courtesy runner for St. Francis, Noah Carraro. Harper has no official at-bats. He walked. Ball high, 1-0. Saints dragging out another inning, making Doyle work hard. He's had a much longer first 2 2/3 innings than I'm sure he anticipated. There's a ball in the dirt. Another 2-0 count. It's already his 15th pitch of the inning. 2-0 on Sean Harper. And it misses high. 3 balls and no strikes. He hasn't walked anybody since the first inning, but he issued 2 free passes in that one. One of them came in to score. Now a 3-0 count on Harper with Tesh waiting to hit next. The pitch. Missed high, ball 4. The bases are loaded with only 1 out. Harper's 2 for 2 now. He's walked twice.
Third baseman, Josh Tesh.
Big opportunity for Josh Tesh. Jay Doyle gets a visit on the mound from manager Dave Griffin. Doyle hasn't quite had his good command tonight. He had 2 walks in 4 innings at the start of play today, so again, a very small sample size. Not a whole lot we could glean from that, but 2 walks in 4 innings is certainly more impressive than today's showing, in which he's walked 3 in an inning, in 2 innings and a third. 4-2 St. Francis, but they're knocking on the door right now. Josh Tesh needs just a base hit to score at least 1 and maybe 2 runs. A flyout would score a run. Naturally, a hit would do it. Tesh is 0 for 1. He grounded out to the shortstop to end the first inning. Farron's at third, Cebulka's at second, Harper's at first. First pitch to Josh Tesh. Taken for a called strike. That's the way it seems to go when you're struggling at the plate. Tesh is not so much struggling as he's just looking for expanded playing time. Foul tipped, it's 0-2. You come in to face a pitcher who's been all over the place throwing nothing but balls, and his first toss to you is right down the middle. Couldn't pull the trigger though. Next one bounces in. And the count is 1-2. Still just 1 out in the inning. So if Tesh is not able to get any of these runs in, there'll still be an opportunity for Bailey Schultz. Here's the 1-2, lefty to righty. Tapper foul, bounced up and got him again in the batter's box. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. And another long inning for Jade Doyle. Nobody warming up in the bullpen right now. This is his 21st pitch of the inning. Ball up and away. We'll see it 22nd. Two and two. Tesh is able to lay off a ball up high. 3-2. This at bat had been an 0-2 count. Now it's full, and 1 more ball will bring Farron in to score and make it 5-2 in favor of the Fighting Saints. Payoff pitch coming up here from the left-hander Jade Doyle. In the dirt, he walked him, and ball 4 brings in a run. Farron crosses the plate. Cebulka advances to third, Harper to second, and Schultz takes his base. Back-to-back walks issued by Harper. Harper and Tesh draw the walks from Doyle. Now it's Bailey Schultz swinging at the first pitch for strike 1. Tesh will get credit for an RBI on that one. Not the hardest earned RBI, but number 6 on the season, just the same. 0-1 on Schultz. And he lays off a breaker low and in. Schultz struck out looking his first time up. He's the number 9 batter. He's also the 6th man to hit this inning. On 1-1, he fouls it off to the left side and into the dugout for the home side. The count is 1-2. There's a swing and a miss from Schultz for strike 3. Or did he tip it? I think he got a tip on that ball, maybe. The home plate umpire is saying he did. He's going to confer with the base umpire to find out for sure. Schultz says he tipped the ball, and it did hit the ground, so he'd be able to stay in the batter's box and get to see one more pitch at least. If they do rule it was a tip, and they do not rule that. Or maybe he did tip it, but the ball was caught. I think that was the signal. Foul tip was made, but the catcher was able to pluck it off the ground. It didn't touch the dirt. So it's a strikeout. 2 outs in the inning, and Travis Schoonover is the batter. Schoonover's 1 for 2 with a flyout and a base hit. He swings through the first pitch here for strike 1. Jay Doyle already around 90 pitches for the game. Misses downstairs. It's a ball on Schoonover. It's 1-1. This will be his 30th pitch of the inning. And it's low for a ball. 2-1. And coming in to score from third base, Noah Carraro. Advancing to third base is Harper. Josh Tesh to second. It's a wild pitch in the dirt on Schoonover. It got away from the catcher Thorne. And it got far enough that Carraro was able to cross the plate. It's 6-2 in favor of St. Francis. And it's a 2-1 count on Travis Schoonover, who takes the strike over the outside corner. No longer is there a force in play at second, at third, or at home plate. Only at first, but there are 2 outs in the inning. Also 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 on base. 2 runs in so far this inning. Saints got those 2 right back that Purdue Northwest procured in the top of the third inning. Here's the pitch. Schoonover flies it into left field, shallow. Albanese comes in and makes the catch to end the inning. 7 more batters come to the plate for St. Francis in the third inning as they score 2 runs on 2 hits, 2 costly walks issued by Jade Doyle. We head to the fourth. It's 6-2 St. Francis. Hunter Thorne, Hunter Ryan, and Ray Hansen are the scheduled trio of hitters for Purdue Northwest in the top of the fourth inning. They trail St. Francis 6-2. Thorne takes ball 1 outside to begin the frame. He's 0 for 1. Ground out to the shortstop his first time up. He grounds this one to the shortstop. Wolf is able to glove it on the short hop, throw on the run in time to get the catcher. Nice play by Wolf. Typically a third baseman for the Fighting Saints, he slides over to play short in today's game, and he's done so flawlessly thus far. He's recorded 2 assists, both of them on Ground ball is hit by Hunter Thorne. Here's Hunter Ryan. Ryan swings at the first pitch, and it's a foul ball to the left side for strike one. Oh, 0-1 on Ryan. His single with one out in the second inning is one of 3 hits in the ball game so far for Purdue Northwest. A ball in the dirt, and the count is 1-1. Despite just 3 hits, they have 2 runs because one of those 3 hits was a 2-run homer for Ray Hilbrich. That was after a walk had put a man on. Ball low and away, it's 2-1 on Ryan. Hunter Ryan this season for the Pride, hitting .364 in limited action. He's 4 for 11, has 1 RBI and has scored 3 runs. That was coming into the game today. He was 4 for 11, so now he's 5 for 12. And he's in the driver's seat here with a 3-1 count. He takes ball 4 low. It's a 1-out walk. Ryan's been on base twice today. It's the second walk issued by St. Francis right-hander Evan Doan. And Hansen gets to bat with a man on for the second time. Hansen was not able to get that runner over last time around as he flew out to center field. He takes a breaking ball over the inside corner for strike one here. Hansen is the number 7 hitter in the Purdue Northwest lineup. He takes a ball off the inside corner. Evan Doan is making just his 2nd start of the year. He had thrown 13 innings prior to today's contest. He's thrown 3 1/3 so far today. He looked very impressive out of the bullpen over the weekend against Indiana University South Bend as there's a grounder to short. Picked up cleanly by Wolf. He flips to second for the force, and Peterson's relay throw is in time to end the inning. 6-4-3 on the double play. And despite the 1-out walk, Purdue Northwest goes nowhere in the 4th. We'll head to the bottom of the frame. 6-2, St. Francis. In the bottom of the 4th inning here in Joliet, St. Francis leads Purdue Northwest 6-2. And the Pride have called on a new pitcher after just 3 innings from their starter, Jade Doyle. Sophomore right-hander Justin Walter is into the game. Walter will face Peterson, Lasota, and Farron, the 2, 3, and 4 batters for the Saints. First pitch misses low to John Peterson for ball 1. Justin Walters on for the 4th time, all of them in relief. He's 0-1 with a 5.40 ERA for the season. His 1-0 pitch is a strike over the inside corner to even the count. In 5 innings pitched this year, Walters allowed 4 runs, 3 of them earned on 5 hits, 7 strikeouts, 8 walks. Opponents are batting .263 against him for the season. Ground ball down the third base line, foul. It's 1-2. 85 pitches over 3 innings for Jade Doyle in his first start of the year. That may be as much a reason as anything for why they pulled him out of the game, although he had not been particularly effective either. Ball low, 2-2. In those 3 innings he pitched, he allowed 6 runs. All of them were earned on 6 hits. He also walked 4 batters, struck out 3. Strike 3 called. Peterson goes down looking. Second time he has struck out today. He's 0 for 3. And the leadoff batter is retired for the 3rd time in 4 innings. Here's Jake Lasota. Justin Walter has the same problems over the course of this season so far as Jay Doyle had in today's outing. He sometimes has problems throwing strikes. 8 walks in just 5 innings this year for the sophomore. But he's been in the strike zone so far in this appearance as Lasota takes strike 1. He's thrown 6 pitches and 4 of them have been strikes. Lasota was the beneficiary of some control problems earlier in the game as he takes ball 1 to even the count. He walked and scored a run in the first inning. Remember, in that first inning, St. Francis had 2 outs, nobody on base. The next 5 batters consecutively all reached. They scored 4 runs, and they've led ever since. Called strike 1-2. Jake Lasota was the first of those 5 consecutive base runners when he drew his walk with 2 outs in the inning. That pitch bounced in, 2-2 on Lasota. St. Francis is playing game number 7 in a 12-game homestand. They've gone 6-0 so far. All of them have been conference games as Lasota strikes out swinging. That's 9 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings on the season for Walter. So clearly he's got good stuff. He would just like to supplement it with good control. He could be one of the better pitchers around. He's had good control so far in today's game as he has struck out the first 2 batters he's faced. But now he's got his toughest test, Anthony Farron. Farron takes ball 1 outside. Farron not only entered the game hitting .448, but he's 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored today. The 1-0 downstairs, 2 balls and no strikes on Anthony Farron. 6-2 St. Francis leads in the bottom of the 4th inning. Mentioned all 6 of the previous games on the homestand for the Fighting Saints have been conference games. Today's is not, as Farron takes strike 1. And the next couple are not. They've got a 3-game weekend series with Grandview starting 2 days from today. 2 games on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. Ball low and in. It's 3-1 on Farron. Anthony Farron trying to keep the inning alive for Jonathan Wolf. 3-ball, 1-strike pitch. Over the outside corner for strike 2. Farron is in disbelief over that call. He not only tossed his bat aside and took a couple of steps down to first, but after the strike call was registered, he just kind of stared blankly into the distance for a few seconds, clearly in frustration. Now the payoff pitch. Now he walks as Farron takes ball 4 low. That's the 5th walk taken today by St. Francis batters. Purdue Northwest pitching today. They're already closing in on 110 pitches for the game. And we're only in the 4th inning. So the Saints have been very patient. They've been very successful on the offensive side as Jonathan Wolf takes ball 1. Now, Wolf is the one guy who's been a really aggressive hitter. Picked up an RBI single on the first pitch he saw back in the 1st inning. Flew out on the 3rd pitch of his 2nd at bat. Wolf takes the ball outside here. It's 2-0. Just as I said that Justin Walter's control had been pretty good in today's game, it hasn't been. He's thrown 10 balls to 8 strikes. There's a ground ball to the right side, and it won't quite sneak through. A nice diving play made by Anthony Agnew, who throws to first and retires Jonathan Wolf. That was a ground ball from Wolf that was eaten up, I think, a little bit by the turf here. Very slow turf at Slammers Stadium. Great play by Agnew, sticking with it, made the diving stop, and threw on over to first in time for the out. So a two-out walk is all that St. Francis's hitters get in the fourth inning. We head to the fifth. Saints still up by 4. St. Francis looking for their 7th consecutive win. They're 4 innings in and off to a good start, leading 6-2. So the first pitch of the 5th inning is grounded by Schneeberger over to third base. Josh Tesh tosses across the diamond for the first out. 1 pitch, 1 out in the 5th. Couldn't have asked for a better start than that for Evan Doan. Doan has really only had 1 bad pitch in the game that's cost him. That was the home run that Ray Hilbrich hit on the first pitch of his 3rd inning at bat, and it followed a walk issued to Connor Hoffman. Swing and a miss this time from Hoffman for strike 1, an 0-1 count on the first baseman. Hoffman, a freshman out of Dyer, Indiana, walked in his first plate appearance. He grounds this one out to center field and reaches base for the 2nd time today. It's a 1-out single. Hoffman was not the one to score the run in front of the Ray Hilbrich 2-run homer. There was a fielder's choice after it, but the walk was the impetus for the 2-run shot. Runner on, 1 out. Doan has been very good in today's game, but he doesn't have a perfect inning. Purdue Northwest has had exactly 1 base runner in 3 of the first 4 frames. They had 2 base runners in the 3rd, and they both scored. Back to the top of the order, and a ball outside for a 1-0 count on Anthony Agnew. Agnew grounded out to third his first time up, and then in the 3rd inning, in kind of a bizarre play, down by 4 runs with a runner at first base, he ended up striking out bunting. Strike over the inside corner, 1-1. In a surprise move with 2 strikes. They kept the bunt signal on for Agnew, and he dropped it foul for strike 3. That's the only strikeout of the game for Evan Doan. There's a high fly ball out to right field, sending Schoonover towards the line. He pulls up and makes the catch for out number 2. Connor Hoffman retreats to first base. Only once in today's game has Purdue Northwest gotten anybody beyond first base. And again, that was on the home run in the 3rd inning. 2 men crossed first base on that 1 swing of the bat. Other than that, they've been marooned. Ball 1 outside on Austin Kordick. Kordick is 0 for 2. He tried to bunt his way on in the 1st inning and grounded out to the catcher. Last time up, reached on the fielder's choice and scored a run. There's a called strike. It's 1-1. Top of the 5th inning. St. Francis up by 4. Looking for another clean inning from their impressive freshman pitcher, Evan Doan. Doan, a soft tossing side armor, out of the stretch, sets and delivers. Fouled off to the left side, 1-2. Doan was very good The last time he appeared in a game, it was on Sunday against Indiana South Bend as part of a doubleheader. He came on in relief and threw 3 innings without giving up very much at all. There's a fly ball to left center field. Should be an easy play for Harper. It is. He makes the catch. The inning is over, and the game is half over. We've played 4 1/2. It's 6-2 St. Francis. In the bottom of the 5th inning, our score is 6-2. St. Francis leads Purdue Northwest. Thanks for tuning in on this Thursday afternoon. A dreary day in the Chicago region. Adam Cebulka, though, has helped brighten it up for St. Francis fans. He hit a 3-run homer back in the 1st inning. He takes ball 1 low to begin the bottom of the 5th. He's 2 for 2. Along with his homer, he has singled and scored 2 runs. He flips this ball to the right side of the infield. Anthony Agnew waits back on it, plays it on a hop, and tosses over to first for the out. Agnew caught a little bit in between there. A softly hit fister to the right side from Cebulka. He could have come in and tried to make a difficult catch on the fly. He elected instead to wait back on it, play it on a hop. A speedier runner may have given him a little bit of trouble by waiting back like that, but with the catcher running down the line, he was able to make the play. There's a swing and a miss from Sean Harper for strike 1. Turned out to be a smart play by Agnew. Harper has not had an official at-bat registered today. He's walked twice, so he's had a pretty productive day. Ball low and in, 1-1. On the season, Sean Harper came in with a 147 batting average, but he did have 5 walks in his 17 games played, upping his on-base percentage to 256. Ball inside, 2-1. Anytime your on-base percentage is more than 100 points higher than your batting average, you don't need to hit all that high to be considered a success offensively. Just trying to get that batting average back up over the Mendoza line as he swings through strike 2. Even count with 1 out. Nobody on in the bottom of the 5th. Saints scored 4 runs in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd. So they're trying to keep the odd innings hot with a base hit here. Foul back, still 2-2. Back in the 1st inning when they scored those 4 runs, the first 2 batters of the inning were both retired. So their entire rally came with 2 outs. They're looking to start a 1-out rally in this 5th inning. It's 2-2 on Sean Harper. Pitch from Walter is in the dirt, 3-2. Justin Walter is in for his 2nd inning of action. 4th inning was kind of vintage Justin Walker, at least as far as the numbers go. He lived up to them. He was effective with a couple of strikeouts, but he did fall behind some hitters and walk 1. And he's walked another here as Harper takes in the dirt. His 3rd free pass of the day. So Harper is at first base, 1 out, and the batter is Josh Tesh, the number 8 hitter. 2 strikeouts, 2 walks in an inning and a 3rd for Walter. Entering today's game, he had thrown 5 innings. He had 7 strikeouts, 8 walks. So he's been very true to form in this game. Harper takes off on the first pitch. It's a swinging strike. Throw down to second base is in time. Harper is out trying to steal. And it's 0-1 on Josh Tesh. Now 2 outs in the inning. Looked like a hit and run on right there. Did not work out for the Fighting Saints as the pitch was upstairs out of the zone. Tesh unable to make contact. And Harper, who had a slow jump as he looked back to home plate, was thrown out on the play by Hunter Thorne for the second out of the inning. Tesh takes a ball to even the count 1-1. Now with 2 outs, trying to start this rally from scratch. He takes the ball outside. Well, it's not a bad pitcher to try to do it against. He'll give up his share of base runners. He hasn't thrown a pitch in the zone in this at-bat. Tesh chased the first one for the strike because of the hit and run. This time he pops it up into foul territory right side in front of the Purdue dugout. Looks like there's room, but the catch is not made by the first baseman Connor Hoffman. In and out of his glove. New life for Josh Tesh with a 2-2 count. Could turn out to be a big break for the Fighting Saints. Tesh had a routine pop-up into foul territory. Hoffman just flat out dropped it. Now the 2-2 offering. Called strike 3, so the error by the first baseman Hoffman only forces 1 extra pitch to be thrown by Walter. And it turns out to be the easiest inning of the game for Purdue Northwest pitching. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. On our way to the 6th, it's 6-2, Fighting Saints. Top of the 6th inning, 3, 4, and 5 due up for Purdue Northwest against Evan Doan as they trail by 4 runs. Doan's first pitch to Ray Hilbrich is over the outside corner for strike 1. Hilbrich has been the one problem spot for Evan Doan today, who has allowed only 4 hits through 5 innings. 2 of them have been to this guy. He takes the ball outside, 1-1. And both runs are the responsibility of the man in the batter's box right now as he fouls it off to the left side, 1-2. He hit a 2-run homer back in the 3rd inning. That's the offense for Purdue Northwest so far today. Hilbrich, Ryan, and Hoffman, those 3 batters, the 3, 6, and 9 batters, have combined to reach base 6 times today. Ball outside, 2-2. The rest of the team, 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7, 8, have combined to reach base 0 times today. It's been an interesting game for the Purdue offense. Strike 3 called over the outside corner. Out number 1 here in the 6th. Doan has his first real strikeout of the game. On the stat sheet, it's his 2nd K. He struck out Anthony Agnew back in the 3rd inning when he bunted foul with 2 strikes. So that counts as a strikeout as well. But this is the first traditional one. Albanese takes ball 1. 1 out, nobody on base. Albanese is 0 for 2. He's flown out to left and to center. The only logical thing to do here would be to fly out to right. Instead, he hits a line drive to left field, down the line, and just inside that foul line. A base hit for Albanese, who heads into second base and slides safely with a 1-out double. Nick Albanese has the 2nd extra base hit of the game for Purdue Northwest. He becomes just the third player in the prize lineup today to make it as far as second. The other two both did so on the home run from Hillbridge. Albany's now 1 for 3. Hunter Thorne is 0 for 2. Thorne, the catcher, has played pepper with the shortstop, Jonathan Wolf, today. A couple of groundouts over there. He chases a pitch out of the zone here for strike one. 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Pride. 6-6-0 for the Saints. Ball low and in. It's 1-1. Purdue Northwest trying today to snap out of a 7-game losing streak. Popped up foul to the right side by Thorne and out of play. Two teams that are trending in totally opposite directions. The Saints have won 6 in a row. The Pride have lost 7 in a row. Purdue Northwest has not gotten nearly as many games in at this stage of the season. It's always strange to look at different teams' schedules, especially in this area at this stage of the year, because the number of games played is so disparate. Fly ball out to left field, long run back, and nobody's going to get there as it splits the left center field gap. Bailey Schultz tracks it down at the wall, but not before 1 run is in, and Thorne has pulled up at second base with an RBI double. Nick Albany scores from second base on the play. Back-to-back doubles have tightened up the game a little bit. It's 6-3 here in the 6th inning. For Hunter Thorne, that is double number 3 this year, RBI number 8. And Purdue Northwest is 1 batter away, potentially, from bringing the tying run to the plate. Here's Hunter Ryan, 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. Ryan swings the first pitch, lost it out to left center. This time an easier play for Sean Harper, who gets over and makes the catch. 2 down. It's a big second out recorded by Evan Doan, who after the initial strikeout had been hit hard for back-to-back doubles. It's one of the very few times in this game he's faced any serious adversity. Still leading by 3 though as he squares off against Ray Hansen. Runner at second base, 2 down. Hansen is 0 for 2 with a fly out. He's also grounded into a double play. He fouls the first pitch off his ankle for strike 1. That looked painful. That's painful on any day. On a chilly day like this, even more so. Oh, 0-1 the count. 1 run is in this inning. Purdue Northwest trying to add more with a runner at second base and 2 down. It's 0-1 on Hansen. The pitch from Doan. Soft liner into left field. That drops in front of Harper for a base hit. Around third base, Thorne tries to score, and he does as the throw is cut off well in front of home plate by the catcher Cebulka, but not quickly enough. Hansen makes it all the way into second base. It's an RBI for him, and it's a 6-4 ball game. For the second time today, Purdue Northwest is able to cut a 4-run deficit down to 2. Run scored there by Lopez, not Thorne. It was the courtesy runner, Lopez, in for the catcher, running at second base. Regardless, it is a 6-4 ball game now as Schneeberger steps in and swings at the first pitch. He flies it into center field, an easy catch for Bailey Schultz, and Schultz puts the squeeze on it to end the inning. So Doan gets out of the trouble, but Purdue Northwest does some damage, scoring 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave 1. And on our way to the bottom of the 6th inning, St. Francis leads Purdue Northwest 6-4. Tying 1-2 due up for the Fighting Saints in the 6th. Bailey Schultz leads things off, leading 6-4. And the first pitch to Schultz misses low and in for ball 1. Schultz and company scored 4 runs in the first inning, 2 more in the 3rd. They've led by as many as 4 runs in the game. Ball outside, it's 2-0. And they've held that 4-run lead twice. It was 4-0 for a little while, and then after the Pride tightened it up to 4-2, the Saints added 2 more and made it 6-2. Fouled off, left side, 2-1. Schultz is 0 for 2 in today's game. He has struck out twice. Purdue Northwest just scored 2 in the top of the 6th. We'll see if the Saints are able to answer quickly again. 2-1 count. Schultz fouls it back. It's 2-2. Man on the mound for Purdue Northwest is Justin Walter. It's his 3rd inning of work. He is not allowed a hit through the first 2, and he's got 3 strikeouts. But he's also walked a couple of hitters. Hasn't come back to haunt him yet. Ball 3 on Schultz. The count goes full. The Saints have been out-hit today, 7-6, after Purdue had 3 safeties in the top half of this inning. Schultz grounds it left side, sliding stop by the shortstop, Ryan. The throw to first is in time. Great play by Hunter Ryan, the shortstop, robbing Bailey Schultz of a base hit. 1 away. Looked like the Saints were about to even up the hit total again right there. Schultz hit a sharp grounder to the left side. It's another one that probably gets through on many fields, but not on the slow turf here at Slammer Stadium. And with the little bit of extra time that he had, Hunter Ryan made a great play. Here's Travis Schoonover swinging through the first pitch for strike 1. Schoonover is facing Walter for the first time today. His first 3 at-bats all came against the starter, Jade Doyle. He fouls it back, strike 2. One out, nobody on, and an 0-2 count on Schoonover. Pitch from Walter. Tapped foul. Though they have 1 fewer hit than Purdue Northwest, the Saints have built their lead, helped in part by 6 bases on balls. 4 from the starter Doyle, 2 from the reliever Walter. Schoonover slaps one to the left side, and it gets under the glove of Hunter Ryan. Schoonover is safe at first base. On a tough play for Ryan, who made a really impressive defensive play, just 1 at bat earlier. This time he lets one get by him. Not an easy grab for Ryan there on a ball that was hit at a difficult angle for him. Still a play he could have made. It was hit just about half a step to his left and was not able to get the glove down on it. It's a base hit for Schoonover. He's 2 for 4. Here's John Peterson. Peterson drops a bunt down the third base line. A beauty. Barehanded by Walter. Throw to first. Not in time. The ball is dropped over by first baseman Connor Hoffman. I think the throw actually was in time to beat Peterson. But he is safe at first as Hoffman is unable to hold on to the ball. So Peterson is at first. Schoonover is at second. Been an interesting defensive inning for Purdue Northwest. First, Hunter Ryan makes a great play, and then he misplays a ball that was a little bit tougher, but still a makeable play. And here on the Peterson bunt, it's a great bunt, but Justin Walter played it as perfectly as could be from the pitcher's mound, and then the play was not made on the other end by Connor Hoffman. It's a bunt single for Johnny Peterson. Runners at first and second with 1 out. A 1-0 count now on Jake Lesota, who swings and misses for strike 1. It's just been kind of a weird inning thus far. We'll see if Lesota keeps that trend going. 6-4, the Saints lead. Lesota is trying to add to that lead with a hit. He smacks it foul to the right. 1-2. So after back-to-back infield singles, well, I guess Schoonover's wasn't an infield single. It got past the shortstop and out to left center. After back-to-back singles anyway, the Saints have now got 8 base knocks for the day, 1 more than Purdue Northwest. Lesota takes the ball outside, 2-2. Long look into the catcher. And now Walter is set. 2-2. Lesota grounds it right side off the glove of a diving Connor Hoffman. It kicks out to right field. Coming around third is Schoonover. He tries to score and slides in safely. Now caught between first and second base. Lesota dives back to first. It is a base hit for Jake Lesota, an RBI, and a 7-4 St. Francis lead. Well, defensively speaking, it has been as mixed a bag as you can find this inning for Purdue Northwest. It seems like great play, immediately followed by not so good play. Peterson made it all the way to third on that one. The last two at-bats, Lesota's and Peterson's, it's kind of a great play and a bad play all in one, although that one more unlucky than anything. Great diving stop by Hoffman, but he couldn't quite pull the ball in. It hit off his glove and ricocheted up into the air, and because of the unlucky bounce, Schoonover was able to score. Ball outside on Anthony Farron. He has not been retired today. 2 for 2. A pair of singles, a walk, 2 runs scored. He's ahead 1-0. He swings and fouls it back off the mask of the catcher Hunter Thorne. Count is 1-1. Catcher's mask knocked off the face of Thorne. Home plate umpire hand delivers the next ball over to Justin Walter to give Thorne a little time to compose himself. I think he might be bleeding. Might have a cut on the face there. And they'll bring the training staff out to have a look at him. It's 7-4. St. Francis has the advantage right now with runners at the corners and 1 out. 3 consecutive singles here in the bottom of the 6th inning from Schoonover, Peterson, and Lesota for the Saints. Travis Schoonover scored on Jake Lesota's base hit. It was more or less an infield hit. Technically did reach the outfield grass, but just barely. It hit off the glove of a diving first baseman, Connor Hoffman. Popped up into the air and dropped a couple of feet into shallow right field, allowing the run to cross the plate and allowing Peterson to advance 2 bases as well. He went all the way to third. Lesota took a hard turnaround first, and for an instant it looked like Purdue Northwest might catch him in a rundown between first and second base, but he quickly dove back head first into first base and was able to remain on the base paths. Looks like we might get a catcher substitution here. Hunter Thorne has taken his gear off, and so he is going to sit out. I think he was cut by that foul ball. Hard to see exactly what happened to him. The foul ball hit by Anthony Farron right back off the face mask of Thorne, and Thorne is out of the game. So a new catcher for Purdue Northwest. It is Nate Lovisa, and Lovisa will get a couple of warm-up catches delivered by the pitcher Justin Walter before we're able to continue. It's a 1-1 count on Farron when we do resume action here. Nate Lovisa is a freshman from Granger, Indiana. Getting some rare action. He's played in only 3 of the team's 12 games so far this season. Well, make it 4 of 13, including today. We're ready to go. 1-1 on Farron. Pitch from Walter. Popped up, right field, down the line. Long run into foul territory for Hilbrich, and he can't get there. It's out of play. Strike 2. Walter trying to straighten things out. He walked 1 batter in each of his first 2 innings in the game. In fact, in all but the second inning, among the first 5, at least 1 Saint has drawn a walk. None so far this frame, but they've done it themselves with 3 hits. 1-2 on Farron. Poked foul to the right side. The count remains the same. Jonathan Wolf stands in the on-deck circle. Farron at least trying to make a little contact, get this run in from third base, even if he doesn't end up with a hit out of it. 1-2 count. He pops it foul and out of play off to the right side once again. So he's fouled off a couple of 2-strike pitches. He'll see a 6th offering from Justin Walter. Been a long day for Purdue Northwest pitchers. Starting man, Jade Doyle, threw 85 pitches through just 3 innings. Justin Walter nowhere near that pace right now. But he's had to work hard as well, in part because of some of the success that he's had. He does have 3 strikeouts. Another 1-2. Fouled off to the right side yet again. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. First and third, it's Lasota and Peterson respectively. Still just 1 out in the inning. 1-2 on Farron. It's a chopper to third and out of the reach of the diving Schneeberger. Coming in to score is Peterson. Lasota advances to second base. Anthony Farron is aboard for the 4th time today, and he picks up his 19th RBI this year. The Saints are back up by 4. That always seems to be the case. They led by 4 after the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth innings, and now they lead by 4 in the midst of the 6th. First and second, still just 1 out. The batter is Jonathan Wolf. Wolf is 1 for 3 with an RBI single. He takes ball 1. So as I said, Justin Walter nowhere near the trouble of Jade Doyle as far as pitch count goes, but he is nearing 60 now in his 3 innings of work. Soft liner to the right side, leaping grab by the second baseman Agnew. He throws back to second to double up Lasota. Great play by Agnew in an inning of bizarre defense. It ends on a great play by Purdue Northwest's second baseman. 2 runs do score in the frame, though, for St. Francis. They leave 1. 4 hits in the inning for the Fighting Saints. As we head to the 7th, it's an 8-4 score. Top of the 7th inning, 8-4, St. Francis leads. Number 9 hitter Connor Hoffman leads things off for Purdue Northwest and takes the ball outside from Evan Doan. Still on the mound. Doan, entering today, had thrown just 13 innings over 4 appearances. Today he's already thrown 6 and on the mound to start the 7th. So Hoffman taps it foul to the right side for a strike. Hoffman's had a nice day in the batter's box. He's 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. Doan's been impressive for the most part. Ran into some trouble in the 6th. He was hit pretty hard in the last inning as Hoffman grounds it foul again, 1-2. The Saints are hoping that's not a sign of him starting to slow down in this game, but just a blip on the radar. Gave up back-to-back doubles to Nick Albanese and Hunter Thorne before Ray Hansen picked up an RBI single. 1-2. Hard grounder, but right at the second baseman. Peterson scoops it up and throws to first for out number 1. Good start to the inning for Doan, who has retired the leadoff batter now in 6 out of 7 innings. The only time he didn't was the third, and that led to a couple of runs scoring. So he has demonstrated the importance of setting him down early in the inning. Here's Anthony Agnew, 0 for 3 in the contest. Agnew takes ball one outside. He has grounded out, flown out, and struck out on a bunt attempt. Agnew has also made a couple of sterling defensive plays, including the line drive he caught, and he turned into a double play to end last inning. 1-1 on Agnew, and he takes the strike from Doan, 1-2. Nobody throwing in the St. Francis bullpen. Doan still looking sharp into the 7th inning. 1-2 offering misses to even the count. Austin Kordick is on deck. If anybody reaches, we'll see Ray Hillbridge this inning. I know that Doan does not want to see Ray Hillbridge this inning. So looking to retire both Agnew and Kordick, but he's fallen behind Agnew now with ball 3 in the dirt. He's missed on 2 straight. 2 walks in the game today for Evan Doan. None since the 4th inning. He's trying to keep it that way. Payoff pitch. Swung on and fouled back. It's still 3-2. Purdue Northwest has come to Joliet for the first time in a couple of years. I was going to say they used to come out here every year, but I guess technically they didn't used to exist. Line drive down the left field line, foul. Still 3-2. There used to be 2 schools, Purdue Calumet and Purdue North Central. Both of them played in the CCAC, and both of them, of course, very familiar with the University of St. Francis, but a couple of years ago they merged into Purdue Northwest. The Lions and the Peregrines combined to become the Pride. Fouled off by Agnew. Good long at bat here. Toughest battle of the day for Evan Doan, as he has thrown already 8 pitches to Anthony Agnew. A year after they became Purdue Northwest, they transferred out of the NAIA. Ball 4 outside. Agnew draws the walk. 3rd one issued today by Doan. And there's a 1-out base runner in front of Austin Kordick. So the last time these 2 teams met prior to today was a couple of years ago in the CCAC tournament. In fact, I believe it was the tournament championship. St. Francis pulled the upset on Purdue Northwest after Purdue had beaten the Fighting Saints 3 times during the regular season. Austin Kordick is 0 for 3 in the game today. He has scored a run after reaching on a fielder's choice. He takes ball 1 from Evan Doan. Purdue Northwest was a 30-win team in their final season in the CCAC 2 years ago. Since moving up a couple of levels to NCAA Division II, they haven't had quite as much success over the last year and a half. They're trying to turn that around. 1-0, hard grounder to short, down to one knee. It's scooped up by Wolf. He flips to second for 1. Peterson to first. It's a double play. Second time today, the Saints have turned an inning-ending 6-4-3 double play. And the walk does not hurt the Fighting Saints or Evan Doan in the 7th. Time to stretch here at Slammers Stadium. St. Francis comes to bat, leading Purdue Northwest by 4. Bottom 7, St. Francis 8, Purdue Northwest 4. Adam Cebulka leads things off for the Fighting Saints. He's had a big day. 2 hits, 2 runs, 3 RBIs. He's got his first home run of the year. And he takes a strike over the outside corner, 0-1. Justin Walter on for his 4th inning of work. He's allowed 2 runs over the first 3. 4 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts for the right-hander. Ball low and in. The count is 1-1. St. Francis, whether or not they win this game, has put together another stout offensive performance. This is their 7th consecutive game in which they have scored at least 5 runs. Ball misses low. The count is 2-1. Prior to this impressive stretch that they've been on, they had only scored 43 runs in their first 15 games, an average of less than 3 runs per game. High pop fly, shallow right center field. Coming on as the center fielder Kordick to make the catch. 1 up, 1 down in the 7th inning. So again, they were averaging less than 3 runs per game prior to their current winning streak. During the winning streak, they're averaging about 8 runs per game. And now on the season, their number is about 4.5. Sean Harper bats for the 4th time. He swings and fouls it off to the right side. Harper has walked 3 times in today's game. He has not had an official at bat. He hasn't scored in any of his 3 times on base, but he's kept the pressure on. Strike called, 0-2. Walter trying to retire back-to-back hitters for the first time since the first 2 hitters he faced. But he can't do it. Slapped out to right field. A base hit for Sean Harper as he works that ball between the first baseman Hoffman and the second baseman Agnew. A 1-out base runner for the Fighting Saints. Harper is aboard for the 4th time today. It's his first hit. It's the 4th time he's been on base. He's had a very productive game. Here's Josh Tesh.
Now batting number 9, Josh Dash.
Tesh is 1 for 3 with an RBI walk. Or 0 for 2 rather, with an RBI walk. Came up with the bases loaded back in the 3rd and forced in a run. He takes ball 1 outside from Walter. Walter glances over his left shoulder to take a look at the base runner. Tesh bunts down the 3rd base line. Foul, strike 1. Last time he was on base, Sean Harper attempted to steal second on the first pitch of the at-bat. He was caught stealing second. Part of that was Josh Tesh was trying to make contact on a hit and run, but the pitch was up in his eyes, and Tesh was not able to connect. And as a result, Harper was kind of left out to dry. Just an unfortunate setup for both men. Anytime there's a hit and run called, you just hope you get something in the zone. Brian Mahalik calls Tesh over to have a little discussion before the next pitch. It's 1-1 on St. Francis's 3rd baseman. Harper over at first base with a 4-run lead in the bottom of the 7th. Strike over the inside corner, 1-2. Walter trying to put away Tesh on a 1-ball, 2-strike pitch. Tapped foul to the left side. Still 1-2. Walter has worked hard in this game. Overall, 2 runs allowed in 3 1/3 innings. Hasn't been a banner day for him. Hasn't been a bad day. He gave up 4 consecutive singles with 1 out in the 6th inning. Other than that one stretch, he's been good, but that's the black eye on his performance today, as there's a single to right field hit by Josh Tesh. His first hit of the afternoon. Sean Harper advances to second base. 2 on, 1 out for Bailey Schultz. I think that's going to do it for Justin Walter. Looks like we're about to see a pitching change as a right-hander starts to make his way in from the bullpen. Dave Griffin makes the slow walk to the mound to grab the ball out of the right hand of Justin Walter, and we will indeed have a change. 8-4, the Saints lead the Pride in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2 on, 1 out, and a new pitcher coming in to face Bailey Schultz. I'll tell you about him in just a moment. Right now, I'll step aside. Saints lead by 4 in the 7th. In the bottom of the 7th inning, St. Francis leads Purdue Northwest 8-4. There are runners at first and second with 1 out. Bailey Schultz is the batter against a new pitcher for Purdue, right-hander Caden Bell. The junior is on for the 5th time this year. He has no record and an 11.57 ERA. In 4 2/3 innings, he's allowed 7 runs, 6 of them earned on 4 hits, with 6 strikeouts and 7 walks. He faces Bailey Schultz, who's 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Robbed on a nice play by the shortstop last inning. Schultz pops up the first pitch into center field. It's shallow. Infield fly rule is on as Agnew makes the catch for out number 2. Good start to the day of Caden Bell as he records his first out on his first pitch. Back to the top of the order, and Travis Schoonover. Sean Harper and Josh Tesh came up with back-to-back singles to chase Justin Walter from the game. Harper and Tesh are at second and first bases respectively right now. Travis Schoonover is the hitter. He's 2 for 4. He bounces one foul to the right side for strike 1. Couple of singles, 1 run scored for the junior outfielder. Final line is not in on Justin Walter because the 2 men on base are his responsibility, but he did go 3 1/3 innings in the game. Struck out 3, walked 2, allowed 6 hits. Ball high, 1-1. Saints have out-hit the Pride 12-7 just an inning ago. That number was 7-6 in favor of the other team. The 1-1 to Schoonover. Fouled off to the left. It's 1-2. Game 7 today of a 12-game homestand. It continues on Saturday with a doubleheader. Grandview is in town, 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Called strike 3. Travis Schoonover goes down to end the inning. So nice work done by Caden Bell, who comes in with runners at first and second and only 1 out. He gets Bailey Schultz to pop out to second and Schoonover to strike out looking. And we head to the 8th. 2 men left on base, no runs for the Saints in the 7th. They still lead 8-4. 2 innings still to play, and so far the Saints have been in command. They've led by 4 ever since the first inning. 8-4 is our score right now. 3, 4, and 5 due up for Purdue Northwest against a new St. Francis pitcher. Evan Doan's day is done after a strong 7 innings. And Hunter Morawski is on. He misses for ball 1 on Ray Hilbrich. Morawski is on for the 6th time. He's 2-1 with an even 2 ERA. In 9 innings, he's allowed 4 runs, 2 of them earned on 8 hits, as Hilbrich flies one into right center field in a bid for the 9th hit this year against Morawski. He can't get it. Bailey Schultz flies into the gap and makes the grab for out number 1. Schultz and Schoonover nearly ran into one another right there. Schoonover kind of cut in front of Schultz. Schultz was able to stick with it and make the grab. 1 up, 1 down in the 8th. Entering play today in 9 innings, Morawski had walked 7 and struck out 4. A couple of numbers he'd like to get cleaned up going forward. And off to a good start today as he gets Hilbrich to fly out, and now Albanese takes strike 1. Nick Albanese is 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. He bounces one off his foot for a strike. 0-2. Evan Doan finished up today's game with 7 innings pitched. He allowed 4 runs, all of them earned on 7 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. And he pitched the entire way, the first inning aside, with the lead. Makes it a little bit easier, especially on a freshman hurler. Ball down low, 1-2. It's one of those games where you haven't scored at all. Giving up 4 runs on 7 hits over 7 innings doesn't look so great. When you've scored 8, looks like a fantastic performance. That ball knocked into left field. It's a base hit. And Nick Albanese is aboard for the 2nd time today. A 1-out single. That'll bring up Hunter Thorne, left-handed, the backup catcher. Nick Lavisa is in. Hunter Thorne left with an injury a couple of innings ago. Lavisa's been in defensively for him ever since. This is now his first time at bat. Ball 1 low. Well, I knew there was something wrong when I started to refer to Hunter Thorne as a left-handed hitting catcher, because he isn't one. Lavisa is. Strike called, 1-1. Lavisa getting his first chance at bat today. He's looking for his first hit of his collegiate career. He's 0 for 6 with a run scored. He has walked a couple of times. He taps this ball weakly to the left side of the infield, and it trickles foul for strike 2. Runner at first, 1 out in the top of the 8th. It's 8-4 St. Francis over Purdue Northwest. Albanese takes his lead away from first base. Down by 4. He probably won't be going too far. 1-2. Low and in. Good block there by Cebulka as Lavisa has to skip out of the way of that ball. It's 2-2. Shadows starting to creep into the field. Going to make visibility a little bit more difficult for the hitters over the next couple of minutes. Starting over the next couple of minutes. Should last probably the rest of the game. Fly ball, shallow left field towards the line. Long run, Harper. He makes a nice running catch. Not an easy play for Harper. He made it look so, but he had a long way to run to get to that ball. And he was able to get there cleanly. Lavisa robbed in his bid for his first collegiate hit. He's now 0 for 7. And the batter is Hunter Ryan, the last Hunter standing. 1 for 2 with a single and a walk today. He takes strike 1 from Morawski. Albanese at first. He singled with 1 out. Now there are 2. 0-1 on Ryan. Pops it up behind home plate, back towards the screen. It stays in play, but Cebulka is unable to make the catch. Nice effort from Cebulka. He dives for it right in front of the wall. It's a dangerous place to dive, but he was able to protect himself despite not making the play It was a good effort. Hit off his glove, but didn't get him flush in the mitt. And so it goes as a strike on a foul ball for Hunter Ryan. The count is 0-2. 2 outs and an 0-2 count on Ryan. Morawski potentially one pitch away from ending the inning. Righty to lefty. He misses low and inside. 1-2. Pride have 4 runs in the ball game, 2 of them in the 3rd, 2 in the 6th. They've got a man at first after a 1-out single. Ball outside, 2-2. But Morawski is trying to strand him there. Purdue Northwest in the game has left 4 runners on base. 2-2. Inside, ball 3. 3 straight misses from Hunter Morawski after he had gotten ahead of Hunter Ryan. 0-2. Now trying to avoid letting him on base. The payoff pitch. He does put him on base. Ball 4 up and in. That's now 8 walks in just 9 2/3 innings this year for Morawski. That's been the frustrating aspect of his game. And he walks Ryan with a 4-run lead and 2 outs in the top of the 8th after he had been ahead of him 0-2. So that would be filed under the category of bad walks. Morawski wishes he could have it back. He has a talk with Cebulka before his catcher returns to his spot behind home plate. Ray Hansen is going to be the hitter. Hansen has an RBI single to his name today. That came in the 6th inning. He's also flown out and grounded into a double play. He takes a ball, snap throw down to first base, and diving back to the bag safely is Hunter Ryan. Ryan was a little irresponsibly away from the bag there. And in fact, a good pickoff throw from Cebulka may have had him, but the throw bounced in. Farron had to throw his body in front of it just to make sure it didn't get by him, and no chance to apply a tag. Chopper down the first base line, that's foul. Does go as a strike, and that's the first one after 5 consecutive misses from Morawski. It's 1-1. Albanese is at second. He singled earlier in the inning. Hunter Ryan's at first. He drew a walk. The 1-1. Ground ball to the right side. John Peterson, the second baseman, gloves it, throws to first, and ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 men left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. St. Francis holds an 8-4 lead on Purdue Northwest. John Peterson leads off the bottom of the 8th inning for the University of St. Francis Fighting Saints, bidding for their 7th consecutive win. They've got an 8-4 lead on Purdue Northwest. John Peterson, Jake Lasota, Anthony Farron due up against Caden Bell, whose first pitch is popped up Shallow center field. Coming on is Kordick, and he makes the grab. Quick start to the 8th inning, 1 out, and it brings up the number 3 batter, Lasota. Peterson now 1 for 5 in the ball game. Caden Bell has now recorded 3 outs, including a strikeout on just 6 pitches. He came on with runners at first and second and 1 out in the 7th inning, and he's done some really good work, at least against the 3 batters he's faced. Jake Lasota takes the first pitch for ball 1. Lasota is 1 for 3 with an RBI single, a walk, and a run scored. Strike over the outside corner. It's 1-1. Caden Bell entered today's game with an 11.57 ERA. Trying to work it down under 9 by making it all the way through this inning. Over the inside corner this time, 1-2. Bell looking to put away Lasota. It's tapped foul, so Jake does stay alive to see at least one more pitch. Anthony Farron waits in the on-deck circle. The last 3 St. Francis hitters have been retired. It's just the second time today that as many as 3 straight hitters have been retired. Ground ball down the third base line, foul. The last 2 batters in the second inning. The last 2 batters in the third inning and the first 2 batters in the 4th inning were all set down by 2 different pitchers. So 4 straight Saints were retired overall during that stretch. Lasota flies it out to right field. It's pretty deep, but it's easily playable. Backing up to make the catch, Ray Hilbrich retires Jake Lasota for the second out of the inning. So that's 4 straight Saints set down now. It's the second time today that that's happened. There has not been a 1-2-3 inning in the game. Anthony Farron would like to keep that trend going. In fact, there has not been a 1-2-3 inning. There's not been a 1-2-3 inning in this game for either team. Although both teams have had at least one occurrence in which the only base runner has been retired by a double play. Farron hits a foul ball off to the left. It's strike 1. Anthony Farron is 4 for 4, at least in terms of times up and times on base. Technically 3 for 3 with 3 singles, an RBI, 2 runs scored. He's also walked once. 0-1. And Farron takes a ball low and in. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody on. Caden Bell trying to pull off the first perfect inning of the game. He'll have to earn it. Fouled away, 1-2. Something's got to give here. Farron has not been retired in 4 plate appearances. Bell has not allowed a base runner against 4 batters. 1-2 the count. Jonathan Wolf waits on deck, hoping for an opportunity. Ball upstairs. It's 2-2. In the 9th inning, Purdue Northwest will have their 8, 9, and 1 hitters scheduled to bat. Schneeberger, a third baseman, scheduled to lead things off. Hard grounder, but right at the shortstop. Picked up by Ray Hansen. Throw to first is in time, and it is a 1-2-3 inning. First one of the game. 5 up, 5 down against Caden Bell. Good work from him today. But his team trails as the Saints go to the 9th inning, 3 outs away from a victory. It's an 8-4 score. Hunter Morawski will try to get the final 3 outs in this game for St. Francis. He pitched a scoreless 8th inning, and now he'll go up against Schneeberger, Hoffman, and Agnew in the 9th, with the Saints leading 8-4. Morawski gave up a walk and a hit in the 8th inning, but got out of it clean. Now it's Schneeberger, 0 for 3 in the ball game, taking strike 1. Danny Schneeberger, the starting third baseman for Purdue Northwest, trying to start a late rally to keep his side in the ball game. He hits a hard one-hopper to third base, but knocked down by Josh Tesh. A good play, and a good play on the other end as well, as Anthony Farron digs it out of the dirt for out number 1. Good start to the inning for St. Francis as Tesh makes a strong defensive stop. Not a great throw, but a fine play on the other end by Anthony Farron, fielding it off the hop to retire Schneeberger, who's now 0 for 4. He's grounded out to third base 3 times. Here's Connor Hoffman. Hoffman takes ball 1 off the inside corner. He's 1 for 2. He has singled and walked. He's also grounded out once. Hoffman taps it foul to the right side. The count is 1-1. Connor Hoffman entered play today hitting .316 for the year. Including today's action, he's now 7 for 21. All 7 of his hits have been singles. So not a powerful hitting first baseman, but he's a solid hitter just the same as he grounds one through the hole on the right side for his second hit of the ball game. He's 2 for 3, a 1-out single. Here in the top of the 9th, keeps Purdue Northwest's hopes alive. Here's Anthony Agnew. You don't often see a first baseman who is a singles hitter like that, but if you're hitting .364, it doesn't much matter that you're not hitting for much power. Anthony Agnew is 0 for 3. He has reached once on a walk. He takes strike 1 from Hunter Morawski. Morawski's been the go-to reliever for the Fighting Saints this year. The only man out of the pen today after Evan Doan went 7 innings. Grounder to third. Tesh up with it. Throws to second for the force. Peterson to end the game. Gets his man at first base, and the Saints win. A double play, 5-4-3. And the Saints turn their third infield double play of the ball game. Good time for it, as they're able to wrap up their 7th consecutive victory, and they led by 4 runs the entire way through. Every single inning of this game ended with St. Francis on top by 4. They scored 4 runs in the first, and then in 2 separate occasions later in the game, Purdue Northwest tightened it up with a 2 spot, followed by St. Francis scoring exactly 2 runs of their own in the bottom of the inning. Let's go back to the bottom of the first. That's when the scoring started. With 2 outs and nobody on, St. Francis started a big rally. Jake Lesota walked, Anthony Farron singled, and Jonathan Wolf singled home Lesota to make it 1-0, a lead they would not relinquish. And then the big bop came from Adam Cebulka, a 3-run homer that cleared the left field wall by a wide margin. It was 4-0 St. Francis. They carried that lead all the way into the 3rd inning. Purdue Northwest got on the board when Connor Hoffman walked and Ray Hilbrich hit a 2-run homer. That cut the lead in half. It was 4-2, but the Saints, as I said, quickly answered. Each time Purdue Northwest scored, St. Francis had a response. Anthony Farron singled to lead off the 3rd. Adam Cebulka singled, and Sean Harper walked. The bases were loaded for Josh Tesh. Tesh drew a walk to score a run, and then a 2nd run in the inning scored on a wild pitch. So the control problems of Jade Doyle, which were a theme throughout the first 3 innings of today's game, led to 2 runs scoring for the Fighting Saints, and the lead was back to 4 at 6-2. Again, Purdue Northwest made it interesting. In the 6th inning, Nick Albanese doubled, and Hunter Thorne knocked him in with a double of his own. A couple of batters later, Ray Hansen picked up an RBI single. It scored Thorne. It made it 6-4, and it made things interesting. The Saints made it a little less interesting going forward. In the 6th inning, Travis Schoonover, John Peterson, Jake Lesota, and Anthony Farron, all with 1 out in the inning, came up with 4 consecutive singles. That scored 2 more runs, made it 8-4, and that went on to become the final in today's game. Our totals for the visiting pride of Purdue Northwest: 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors. For the home team, St. Francis, 8 runs, 12 hits, no errors. The winning pitcher, Evan Doan, went 7 innings, and he improves to 1-0 on the season for Doan. It is the first collegiate victory in his second career start, and a very good performance today for Doan. Purdue Northwest's losing pitcher was their starter, Jade Doyle, who had not allowed a run in 2 relief appearances entering play today. He allowed 6 runs in his 3 innings today, and he falls to 0-1 for the season. With the victory, St. Francis is now 11-11, back to 500. In fact, I shouldn't even say back to 500. They're at 500 for the first time all year. They had been 4-11. They've won 7 straight to get to this point. Purdue Northwest has now lost 8 consecutive games as they fall to 2-11 on the season. 3 games coming up this weekend between St. Francis and Grandview. A doubleheader gets the weekend series started on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And we'll have that broadcast for you the same way we always do through GoFightingSaints.com. You can find us on the St. Francis YouTube or Facebook pages as well. So we'll have all 3 games of that series over the weekend, including both of Saturday's doubleheader, again starting at 1 o'clock. And then conference season resumes next Wednesday with a 1 o'clock doubleheader against St. Ambrose. Again, the final score today, St. Francis defeats Purdue Northwest 8-4. That's going to do it for our broadcast. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday.